That's okay. You got two food groups.
No damn connection.
You got two food groups.
So I was like stuck in Newark, and I was like, wherever I was like, I'm not gonna make the flight home. And they're like, we can't tell you that.
Yep.
So I didn't arrange for any like transportation, and then of course I landed, and I'm like, yeah. This was like many years ago, when you could still do that, like respectively.
Still pick you up
He
today.
probably would. I mean, you know, I'd do it for him too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had one, I was flying out to Fargo, North Dakota for a viewing on Sunday. And I had to be back Sunday because the Bar Association was something for my death on Monday.
I saw her up there.
I know, she's
Fly out over there.
driving in.
Okay. No fair. I just know this is like it's really hard in the peripheral. Like when it's pushed in, like it's like blinding.
Going to Fargo that I.
No, that's okay.
Back. So I ended up flying out to 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting to read the history. Ann is, but Ann's on her way in. So
Whenever I'm here, Ann's not here. Whenever she's here, I'm not here.
Yeah, we're gonna
No, but
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
good afternoon.
Thank you. I'd like to call the August 29th, 2023 meeting of the Lehigh Northampton Airport Authority Board of Governors to order. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If I could ask everyone to please stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So back to you, call the roll, please.
Paul Anthony.
Here.
Ann Baum.
Here.
Robert Brooks.
Here.
Frank Facciano.
Present.
Don Godshaw.
Here.
Justin Grimshaw.
Here.
John Hayes.
Here.
Ron Heckman. Larry Hemberger. James Irwin.
Here.
Jeff Matskin.
Here.
Glenn Reedman.
Present.
Mike Sturshik.
Here.
Jonathan Strauss.
Here.
Chris Worley.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Before we jump into the rest of the agenda, I'd like to ask everyone's indulgence for a moment of silence. On behalf of the Lehigh Northampton Airport Authority, we would like to hold a moment of silence for John Kalnich following his sudden passing on Sunday. He provided years of dedicated service to the community as an EMT, firefighter, and various positions in Lehigh County Emergency Management, including director. John was also a part-time member of the Aircraft Rescue and Firefighting Unit here at Lehigh Valley International Airport, where he served from May 2015 to May 2019. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family, his friends, and first responders in the region. Please join me in a moment of silence for John Kalnich. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He will be missed. Do we have any public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Next is the approval of the minutes of June 27, 2023 Board of Governors meeting. They were circulated via Novus Agenda. Entertain a motion by Justin, second by Mike. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we get into the reports of committees, officers, and staff. First is Treasurer's Report. Justin.
So Todd, if you want to go up there and take us through June and July, please.
Good afternoon. I'm going to go through July. Obviously, at this point, June's a little obsolete, but you have to approve them both because we didn't have a meeting last month. And happy Connector Eve to everybody.
That's true. Everyone see the email that goes live tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, let's start off with the traffic. You can see we were at 91,000 and change in July, down some from last year. You can see that 2021, 2022, and 2019 were all better than them. But again, we're in the 90 range and kind of what we expected. But year to date, we are pretty much on par. I don't think we've ever been that close. This is a few hundred away as far as year-to-date traffic. We do expect traffic to pick up toward the end of the year. We talked about that before. But again, you can see our bus traffic is obviously picking up. Our leads and traffic is doing well. We're just waiting for everybody else to catch up. Let's go for our load factors. And the load factors are really the percentage of the actual seats that we're using.
Was it something you said?
Must have been something. I got to work on that. Percentage of the seats that we're actually using. So you can see year to date, we're using 87% of our aircraft service. So of the seats available, we're using 87%. On our bus, we started keeping this data in 2023. You can see the numbers are going up. Americans at 78 year to date, and United is about 58. But again, you can see that the numbers are improving.
Todd, when did American go behind the security line?
It was in July. So, but again, it has been picking up.
And United, have they expressed any interest in going behind the line?
They really haven't had any word from them on it. I think, you know, obviously the procedure that's in place right now with American is really a test process for the TSA, so we'll wait to see the outcome of that result.
Compare ourselves to all U.S. airports. You can see our throughput going through the checkpoint is down 7%. Seats, however, are down 12, so you can see that we're using a higher percentage of our seats. And you can see all U.S. airports up 2%, and seats are up 3.4%. Comparing us to our peers, again, peers are within a proximity to a hub, about 90 minutes or so from a hub. So that gives us, and we always throw in Scranton and Harrisburg as well, but just to kind of give you a feel for why we choose these as our peer airports. But you can see that we're doing much better than our peers. They're down 24% throughput, and again, you see our numbers -7, and their seats are down almost double our number. July, you can see where we are here. We can see our net income is about $331K, you know, versus our budgeted number. I keep throwing in there just so we can kind of keep an eye on what's going on when we get out of the CARES era. That net income with CARES and full staffing, that number goes from 331 down to 119. Still a positive number, but something that we always try to keep our eye on because we're going to be running out of CARES at the end of 2025 is our last year with CARES. So again, it's just something to keep in mind as we move forward. Same thing year to date, you can see, you know, $4 million looks pretty good compared to a budget of a little over $1 million. But you can see that without CARES and without full staffing, that number drops down to $857K from $4 million. So again, you know, it's still a positive number. Our budget was obviously not positive without CARES and without and at full staffing, but you can see that we're keeping an eye on that number. And for those that might look at CARES, at this point it's really just ARPA. That's the only one that's really left for us. All the other ones we kind of use. I think we do have a little bit more FEMA, but that's a relatively small percentage. Always look at our, you know, our streak. You know, we like to be positive net income without CARES and miscellaneous income, so we're 7 for 7. And last year we had 10. You can see in 2019 we had 11 out of 12 months. We had positive net income without CARES and miscellaneous income. Around mid-year, we always do kind of a projection as we go into our budget season, kind of seeing where we think we're going to end up. And you can see our projection at this point is close to $5 million. Again, significantly better than what we were in our budget. But again, that, if you look at it without some of the CARES and without some of the full staffing, it's not quite as robust. But again, still positive. So it goes down to the, you can see I've done that 131. It's maybe play that lottery number, but you can see it goes from down significantly to 1.2 million versus almost 5 million. And you can see our cash flow again. We're using on our current budget of $69,318 as we go forward. Obviously, when we get to January, once we get a better feel for next year's budget, that number is going to be higher. But the whole 12 months is based on the $69,318. Obviously, that number is going to go up as we go into next year. Any questions?
Okay. Again, any questions for Todd? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept the June and July 2023 financial reports. Motion by Frank, second by Jeff. Any discussion at all? Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, anything else from the Finance Committee, Justin? Okay, thank you. Next, or Treasurer's report. Next is the Finance Committee. Turn it over to Frank.
And I'll turn it back over to Todd regarding the terminal and connector supplemental resolution.
So if you remember, our original terminal connector loan for both the 15 million and the 8 million were 24 months of interest only. We extended that just because of the timing. So we extended the 15 million 3 months out to the end of September, and we extended the bridge 8 million loan out until the end of the year with interest only. This is just formalizing that agreement, so it's documented. We've kind of been moving forward on that. This is kind of the formal document to do that. Any questions, concerns?
Any questions for Todd? Entertain a motion to approve the terminal connector supplemental resolution. So moved. Motion by Mike, second. Second by Don. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And we have one more, the BMO Harris resolution, Todd.
And this is formalizing what we have left on one of our lease lines, and this is what we use for equipment and some of our smaller projects that we use. It's just a line of credit, but they want it formalized. I think we did this in 15 or 16, and we've been it was originally 4 million, and we kept pushing it, and they said, wait a minute, you guys need to do this at least once a year and say what's left over. So at this point, this is about for a year. We're obviously not planning on spending it all, but it's available to us. So we have 1.5, and it's just saying that that's how much you have left to use in a year. And then if we want to use, we'll probably come back next year and keep going forward. It's just like a mortgage, like a home equity line that in case you need it, that's what it's there for. Any questions, concerns?
Any questions for Todd? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the BMO Harris resolution. Motion by Jonathan, second. Second by Mike. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else from the Finance Committee, Frank?
Nothing here, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Justin, back to you, Business Committee.
Ryan, would you like to take your place? With the on-call planning and engineering, he's gonna be there for a while.
Good afternoon, everybody. So what we're looking for here, we talked about at the committees, is to approve 3 contracts for our on-call planning, architectural and engineering services. Required by the FAA, required to go through the solicitation process for a RFQP. Back in May, we received 6 responses. We ranked those, reviewed internally as well as with an outside consultant. Got to the 4 highest ranking firms, which you can see there. With that, the FAA then requires a sample task, which is just going through some analysis for our terminal area in terms of the inside space for passenger accommodations at the new jet bridges. Once we received those back, reviewing the sample task, we narrowed it down to the highest 3 ranking firms, which is what we're recommending for award for 4-year contracts with 2 1-year options. You see the firms here, all firms that we've worked with, Airport Design Consultants, AECOM, and McFarland Johnson, which is kind of where their home base is, you can see there, but each of the firms has a consultant team that uses folks locally in terms of surveying, geotech, permitting, traffic studies with the township. Again, working with all of the highest ranking firms, pleased with the work they're doing, some of the alternatives they came up with the sample tasks that you might see if we move forward with some of those projects in the future. But again, we're looking for approval to approve the selection of the following prime consultants: Airport Design Consultants, or ADCI, AECOM, McFarland Johnson, and authorize the executive director to enter into 4-year contracts with 2 optional 1-year extensions with each firm.
Entertain a motion for approval of the staff recommendation per Ryan's presentation.
So moved.
A motion by Glenn, second.
Second.
Second by Frank. Open it up for discussion. Anyone have any thoughts or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Great, thank you. Next one we went through during the committee was to award a bid for the exterior painting of Hangar 7 here at APE. Again, a little bit of background. One of our oldest hangars on the facility. The paint has been flaking, peeling, deteriorating. So to maintain the structural integrity of the facility, we solicited quotes to get it painted. You can see we received bids on August 22nd. The lowest responsive and responsible bid was from TMU Enterprises, doing business as Hanaho Painting, for $196,630. There were a couple add alternates with the bid, which we'd be going with base bid, add alternates 2 and 3. What we do recommend is including a 15% contingency in this project, just to account for any uncertainties given the age of the facility, in case there's some window repair they have to do, rotted door frames, those kind of things. The price was in line with some of the proposals that we've received in the past, and it falls within our Exhibit B 2023 CIP line item. So with that, if you want to scroll down to that. So we have had, LNAA has not worked with this company specifically, but some of the members of our staff have and have a good experience with them. And again, they provided all the documents, qualifications, certifications for lead-based paint removal, which is required. So our recommendation is to award the bid to TMU Enterprises, doing business as Hanaho Painting of Reading, Pennsylvania, for the exterior painting of Hangar 7 at ABE for a total contract amount of $226,630.
Entertain a motion for approval of the bid for the exterior painting of Hangar 7.
Motion.
Motion by Paul, second. Second by Don. Any discussion?
Just a comment. We talked at the committee meeting. This was the only bid we received, right?
Correct.
We have to figure that out, like as a board internally, how we get more bids.
Yeah.
The counties are dealing with it, everybody's dealing with it, but, I mean, one bid's just not good.
Yes, I was gonna say, we did do some research in terms of through Penn Bid. You know, it's solicited out to folks that are registered in that code, so send out quite a few companies. But yeah, as you mentioned, even talking to the folks from Penn Bid, it's really a bidder's market, so you're seeing a lot of less bids. You know, contractors are being very.
That should be slowing down here though in Lehigh, Northampton County. It should, that pendulum should be switching now.
I've heard that as well.
Bidder's market as much, so like the fact that people are still struggling tells me that something's being missed out there. I don't know what it is. If I did, I'd tell you. You know, I don't, but you know, somebody has to figure it out.
Can we create our own distribution list, or does it have to go through a site that's publicly available?
So we've done both in the past.
Yeah, and we continue to send things out to, you know, firms that might be interested, done previous work with them. But working with PennBid, you get a very wide distribution because it's a state website that really pushes a lot of information to a lot of subscribers. So
Just wonder if we can create our own at least local distribution list. Use PennBid for.
So that's a yes, right?
it can be done.
Like legally, we can do that.
Yes, absolutely. There's no, again, part of the challenge, I think, like what we heard here on this one is, it's specific to painting, it's specific to lead abatement. So you're looking for some of those criteria that aren't, you know, necessarily all your GCs and things. So it's where you get into the challenges, looking for some of that niche work that may not fit everyone. But we could certainly develop an internal list.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hearing it everywhere, so there's obviously a problem.
No, and I've read a lot about Northampton County lately. I haven't seen much about Lehigh County, but I would imagine they're having the same challenges.
I think everybody is.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the private world, over the last 6 months, I don't know how many calls I've received just for electrical. Like, we don't know, nobody's bidding, will you please help us? Like people who would not normally pick up the phone and call me.
Yep.
Right? So there's obviously issues.
Yep.
Well, we've run into even that from the vendor side of things. I know, you know, working with Todd and his group, even just getting vendors' calls back sometimes.
Right. Okay. That's it. That's all I have.
Good question. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next.
All right, thank you. So last but not least, this next one is to award a bid for the Passenger Boarding Bridge Foundation Project to go with the new jet bridges 3 and 10 that was approved earlier this year. The gates here at ABE. So just a quick recap, the second of the 3 phases for the project for the 2 new boarding bridges. So gate 3 requires a rotunda support column, the foundation for the fixed walkway to protective bollards, and then similar work over at Gate 10 as well. VRH Construction of Englewood, New Jersey submitted the apparent lowest responsive responsible bid earlier this month. You'll see the amount of $256,000. Again, reviewing the bid, it was slightly higher than the engineer's estimate, but looking at the smaller quantities of concrete, had a little bit of a higher unit price, and compared to the other bidder that we received, again, they were very competitive, taking those into consideration. Again, our share of this project is zero because of the grant that we received from DCED. And then after phase 1, and this second phase is about $1 million left for phase 3 that we'll talk about probably next year with some of the control upgrades that are left for the bridges. We'll scroll down a little so that, please.
Why is it phrased the apparent lowest responsive?
So until, it's a good question. So until we've reviewed, approved, and then presented to the board, it's apparent based, until we actually make that selection. So it's, again, if there's multiple bids, making sure we meet that requirement. Again, with VRH Construction, they perform similar projects at other airports, again, with foundations specific to boarding bridges. And as a reminder, they were the contractor for phase 1, so coordination between both phases makes it a little bit easier working with them as well. And the work is anticipated to start next spring prior to the new bridge's arrival, which we're working through that logistics and time frame. So our recommendation is to award the bid to VRH Construction of Englewood, New Jersey for the boarding bridge foundations project at ABE and the contract amount of $256,000.
Entertain a motion for approval of the bid for the new Jet Bridge 3 and 10 foundations.
So moved.
A motion by Jeff, I think, second by Bobby. Any discussion?
I guess I have a question on the foundations. I'm assuming that column is fairly deep.
I believe so. Yeah.
And when we did the connector, we did a lot of micropiling.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be required for this, or we don't know until we start excavating?
Yeah, in the past, we haven't run into the issue of needing micropiles for our jetway foundations. None of the existing jetways needed micropiles. Okay. So we don't anticipate it with this based on, again, having foundations in these current locations and some of these locations. It's slightly moving it, but really not significantly changing the location.
So I'm looking at the added cost if we run into that, that's all.
Run into that, yeah.
Okay.
That's a great question, especially in this area. Yep. There's a micropiling going on right now. Okay, any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Justin, anything else for the business committee?
Nothing else.
Okay, right, thank you. Justin, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the director's report. Tom.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Todd ran through our traffic numbers a little bit, just kind of looking ahead. August numbers still, again, going to be slightly down for us as we close out the month, but September scheduled seats are up about 8%. Nationally, those scheduled seats are up about 8.5%. So again, starting to see some of that pick back up. And what we're looking at for cargo for July, which we didn't talk about, was our best July cargo on record. That was up 17%. And continue to see strong growth there. We're up 28% year over year at this point. So continuing to watch that. Since our last regular board meeting on June 27th, it's been a little while, but we've been busy. We had our TSA pre-check open enrollment. And that was 292 people were processed through that. So that takes us up to 13,531 people that we've registered through our pre-check enrollment events. So
See them every time you get in line. You're better off on the other line.
yes, better off in the pre-check line, right?
I did that on one of my flights this weekend. It was shorter to go the regular route.
Yeah. So we'll continue to do those, and I'll mention the upcoming one here shortly. Yes.
Money on that?
No. Okay. No. This is just. Again, just an opportunity to get folks enrolled. Is Todd saying something back there?
No, he was like, yeah, where's the money?
Yeah, where's the, yeah.
Actually, I have a follow-up question for pre-check too. What happens with kids? So I tried to Google this because I was gonna, like, we're going on a trip sometime next year.
So, Colin, I think, are we still looking at children 12 and under included on pre-check? Did that number get moved at all since we saw that post?
I don't think I've seen it move, but I can double check and verify.
Okay. We'll verify the age, but it had been 12 and under were included in an adult's pre-check. Okay. But we'll make sure that that's still the case. There was some discussion about that age number being ratcheted up a little bit.
Okay.
So we'll verify that for you.
So they don't have to be here with, like, if I would come over to do a pre-check, the adult would come over to do the pre-check.
You
the kid
do
don't
the
have to be
pre-check,
here.
correct,
The kid just comes with them for the flight.
correct.
Thank you.
No problem. Let's see. The August 8th, we had a blood drive with Miller Keystone, and we collected 20 units. That was in memory of Michaela Ashmore, so it was something we're looking at doing every year. August 22nd was a busy day. We were at the Hanover Township Community Day at Canal Park, so we were down there with a table and some of our first responders. But August 22nd was also the day we had our annual airport emergency tabletop exercise and plan review. That was attended by 95 people, grows every year, and 37 agencies from our local mutual aid agencies. So it was a great attendance for that. Thank you to Steve Connors and to Jennifer Bagari for putting all of that together. I know that was a lot of work we do every year, but it gets better every year. In terms of upcoming events, tomorrow, as somebody may have alluded, we will officially open the new TSA checkpoint and terminal connector. So thanks to everybody for that hard work. So very excited to get that up and running at 0 dark early tomorrow. September 12th, Arts Quest mural that you may have caught in our tunnel, our pedestrian tunnel, in and out of the parking area. That will be basically wrapped up. We'll have a little presentation. I think Colin's going to put some more details together on that, but it's a great little mural. We were able to partner with Arts Quest to put a mural in that walkway. I think it looks terrific. So if you get a chance to stroll through that, but again, we'll send some more details on that for September 12th. September 17th, polo match is back at Braden. So if you're interested in that, we'll have more info on that soon. It's still coordinated, and that's all benefiting Equilibrium. So we're really excited to continue that partnership with them. September 25th, we're still working towards a national amendment for TSA that requires aviation worker screening. That will go into effect here. We'll basically be now screening employees as well as passengers. So that's going to be a little bit different for us. There's still a lot moving on that national amendment, so more to come. But again, just something that we've been working on behind the scenes. October 2nd and 6th, Customer Appreciation Week and our next TSA pre-check open enrollment. So October 2nd through the 6th, we'll have that. Again, it'll be on site here, so if you're interested, Con will send more information out about that. I think, actually, you may have sent some information on that already.
Sent this morning.
You did, thank you. All right, so we have some information in your inboxes if you're interested in pre-check. October 7th, Special Olympics and FedEx are doing their plane pull. So we're, again, that's something that they're coordinating, but there is a website for that, lvplanepull.org. So if you're interested, that's running from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. On October 7th. October 9th through the 11th is actually the annual Pennsylvania Aviation Conference. The Airport Authority is hosting it here in the Lehigh Valley this year. It's going to be at the Hotel Bethlehem. So we're very excited to have 150 or so of our colleagues from across the Commonwealth come join us and talk all things aviation. So that'll be a great event for us. We get to do that annually. It's the first time we've held it here in probably 20 years or so.
Show off the connector.
And show off the connector.
Absolutely.
So we are going to definitely do that.
Are there any sessions there that we should attend as board members?
There's nothing really geared towards governance in that group, but if folks are interested, I can get you some information. We'll send some information out about it.
Yeah, since it's here.
Yeah, for sure. And then, let's see, last but not least, November 6th, and I'm going to look at Justin because I know he asked about this in the past, maybe not for himself, but the next Fear of Flying seminar from
It's not for me, but thank you, Colin. He helped me out getting people registered.
So, still very popular, about a dozen folks per class, really works great. And we have a number of folks who just rave about that next, the Fear of Flying seminars that we're doing. So 6 to 8 p.m. November 6th, you can register at flyabe.com. So with that, that concludes my report, Mr. Chair. Happy to answer any questions.
I've got one, then I'll open it up. Should we do more Fear of Flying sessions, or do you think we have the right number for the demand?
Yeah, I think obviously, so it's working with the counselor who comes in and some of the flight crew members that come in. So we can continue to look at that. Colin, I'll kind of throw it to you if you think we have more interest there.
Yeah, we in 2024, we plan to increase them.
Oh, okay.
Discussions are, Paula had proposed
So, okay. So I think again, because it's been popular, we can
Yep.
certainly look at that.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Open it up for questions for Tom. Okay, Tom, thanks, good report.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we have the solicitor's report, Attorney Marcon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just some real estate matters we're working on with the Rockefeller parcels, so just closing out some of the last few tasks there. Aviation Council is also involved in some of that work. The tax appeals were filed for annual appeals on 2 properties, and we had the hearing. Pretty sure it's going to go through, but the decision won't come through until sometime in October. These are for Lehigh County. Northampton County typically automatically grants the exemption, but in Lehigh, we have to bring it to their attention. We also worked on the ABE Idol rules and singing competition, which is now live. It's on the website. The competition period is September 5th. Is that when it closes?
Yeah, I think
It opened up last week. So there's an online submission, and then the winner will be selected by a panel, judges, and the winner will be able to perform in the airport and at Oktoberfest. And then also some, leasing agreements, just your standard fare. Also, we talked in committee about a bylaws amendment regarding the conflict of interest provision, and also update to the resolution, which we're going through some revisions, and we'll have that ready for committees again next month. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, Attorney Marcon. Any questions for Attorney Marcon? Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any new business to bring before the board today? We have no need for an executive session that I'm aware of. Okay, to entertain a motion to adjourn. Move from Mike, we're good to go. Everybody, thank you. See you at the committee meetings next month.
Fish.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What do I do with the rest of my day?